Welcome back, everybody, and on today's edition of Knife Talk 101, we're going to be giving my 30-day initial thoughts of the Benchmade Full Immunity. This is a interesting little knife. It kind of sits in a class all of its own. This knife is using CPM M4 Super Tool Steel. That's what Benchmade likes to advertise this as. Anybody that's familiar with CPM M4 or any type of tool steel, generally they are not stainless steel. This is not a stainless steel knife. So what they have done with this knife is they have put a black Cerakote over the blade to keep it from getting corrosion and developing rust. The scales on this guy, pretty nice. They're aluminum. I think they're aircraft grade, but they're fully anodized. And this one right here is in the woodland green. In my opinion, this actually turned out to be the better of the colors. This is closer to baby barf green, if I had to give you a better description. But I've been carrying this guy for 30 days now as my EDC. Put it through some moderate use, not a whole lot of hard use on it yet. And I have to say I'm pretty impressed. Have not sharpened this guy yet. So this is still rocking the factory edge on it, and I didn't think I was going to have a use for a folder that is this small, compared with a utility, razor blade flipper here. Yes, this definitely has more cutting edge on the Benchmade than we have on the Tyrant razor knife, right? Utility razor knife. But you compare that to a typical pocket knife that I would carry as my main knife. For example, we have this Sinkovich Design Zero Tolerance here. Let's just compare the blades, right? You see this, this guy's got a 3.25 inch blade on it, I believe. This is right around the average size of knife that I would typically carry. And the Benchmade here, Full Immunity, has a 2.49 inch blade, right? So just under 2.5 inches, just by a smidgen there. And this is something, right, that I would typically carry with me on a daily basis. This is right about that right size. This sucker is tiny. And when I ordered it, I didn't realize just how small it was. I should have looked at the specs. I was kind of just liking the design of it. It's something new by Benchmade, completely out of what their standard catalog wheelhouse has been for the last couple of years. So I was really excited and just jumped on it as soon as I had the opportunity. One thing that I can tell you is this is definitely more comfortable to carry in the pocket than some of the bigger knives. This knife was not uncomfortable to carry, this Zero Tolerance Sinkovich. But if we compare, right, to this Mini Adamas, which carried extensively over the summer, I still find myself reaching for this knife just because I've gotten used to it. It's comfortable, fits in the hand great. It's nice and worn in now. This little guy, though, sometimes I find it hard to manipulate. Does sit down in the pocket great. It is much thinner, right? So this is a little bit thicker. These scales kind of bow out a little bit in the center. Not sure if the camera's picking that up well for you to be able to see it. But this guy, nice and slim. It kind of disappears in the pocket. The only thing that I ever notice with it, right, is sometimes this lanyard right here kind of gets in the way, or will kind of make a little bit of noise when walking. But I don't mind the lanyard. It actually, it's pretty smart. This lanyard gives you a little bit extra to hold on, and the way this knot was made, and it came out of the factory this way, just gives you a little bit extra purchase on it. Makes it feel a lot more capable than what a tiny little knife would typically feel like. But after 30 days, I have to say I'm fairly impressed. Hasn't failed me yet. The edge coming out of the factory, it's sharp. Is it wicked edge sharp? No, but it's sharp. Not any problems cutting any 550 cord, anything that I've encountered on a day-to-day use. Now, typically with my knives, right, unless I'm purposefully trying to torture test them, I don't abuse them. I will typically use something like a pocket utility razor knife. We've featured many of them on the show, where I can just exchange a blade right out and not give a crap if the blade gets damaged, chipped, whatever the case may be. If I have to cut through metal wire, use it as a pry bar, which you should never do, by the way, with any blade. They're not designed to have force put on them, right? This way, they're designed to have force exerted down on them in a cutting motion. So don't do what I do sometimes. This knife actually has a little flat pry bar right there on it, so I do reach for this pretty frequently, and this does stay in my daily carry. I can't say enough good things about that. But anyway, back to the Benchmade. This little sucker is impressive. For a lot of you out there that don't want to have a big knife, or you work in an office where it's just not knife friendly, or the culture around you isn't knife friendly, this might be a great option for you. And just to kind of give you a size comparison, here's a tube of chapstick, right? Well, off-brand chapstick. It's just a little bit, just shy of an inch bigger than a tube of lip balm. So gives you any idea of just how small it is. It is snappy, it really is. And they do make this in an auto variant as well, the Auto Immunity. And in case 2.5 inches, or just under 2.5 inches, is just a little bit too big for you, they do make the Partial Immunity, which comes in at a laughable 1.95 inches, right? So just under 2 inches. It's pretty small. And to give you a comparison, right, of what the Partial Immunity, I don't own a Partial Immunity, but what I do have is a ProTech Runt 5 here. And this one is in a nice purple color. And the ProTech Runt 5 actually has a 1.95 inch blade on it. So you can get a nice comparison, right, of what the size difference would be. They're almost the same in scales, right, as far as their size. However, this guy is just overall smaller. But if we set these blades side by side here, you kind of get a good idea, right, what the size difference would be between these two knives. Now, what I will say, if you are looking for the auto variant, which I do have the auto variant of the Full Immunity here, and so we do have this guy. This was supposed to be flat dark earth. To me, this looks more like champagne. There might be a reason for this though. So with the Auto Immunity, this one, I didn't notice it when I first unboxed it. This is a first production run, so the coloring may not have been dialed in properly on the scales, and this one may have slipped past QC. So I don't have access to another one in this color to verify it, but I would call this more of a champagne gold color than I would a flat earth. But yeah, this guy is pretty snappy, and it's also in the M4 Super Tool Steel, as they call it, or M4 Steel, with the Cerakoted blade. What I can tell you, right, about the ProTech here, this ProTech is kind of nice. This one has black DLC coating, does not have Cerakote. The clip is black DLC. You can see it's already gotten scratched up. Anodized aluminum scales, textured, and this one comes in CPM Magna Cut. So depending on your steel preference, if you actually want an overall jack of all trades high quality steel that's going to be corrosion resistant, much better than this is, because that Cerakote, while it's tough as nails, once you do wear that Cerakote off, your blade is going to be exposed and could develop corrosion. Where this is going to be a little bit more corrosion resistant. The M4 steel definitely has a higher level of toughness and potentially a higher level of edge retention. May stay sharper longer. We'll have to test that and kind of find out. But yeah, if you want something a little bit smaller in an auto variant, what I would suggest, unless you absolutely love Benchmade, if you are looking at the auto variant of the Full Immunity, go with the Runt 5. Currently, these are going for right at around $270 to $300 for the auto variant, as well as the regular Full Immunity. You can pick these up for as cheap as $150 if you just shop around. It's not a bad knife. I've never had a problem with a ProTech. One thing that the Full Immunity has that the ProTech does not have is it does have a deployment lock. so that'll keep it from firing. However, this button is recessed nice and deep in there, so I don't think you would have to worry about that. Anyway, this is not a overview or review video, right, of the auto immunity, or of the ProTech Runt 5. I think we're going to make a YouTube short kind of comparing the two of these. Never done a short, but it's a requirement for us to be able to get monetization in order to bring you guys all kinds of fun new stuff, right? For us to overview, review, and just beat the living crap out of and see what lasts. But back to the back to the Benchmade Full Immunity. So far, after 30 days of carrying this as my main daily knife, I am pretty impressed with it. It hasn't failed me yet. There have been times where it's not been the most ergonomic knife for me to carry. However, it has not been an uncomfortable knife to use, to say the least. So if you like the knife, so far after 30 days, what I can tell you, if you like the way this thing looks, money isn't an object to you for something so small, go ahead and pick one up. Chances are it'll meet all your needs. And like I said, if you work in an office building that is not knife friendly, or work in any environment that's not knife friendly, and you want something that's a little bit more discreet, still got that kind of tactical feel to it, but at the same time not as intimidating, this is probably a nice option for you. If you want something premium, you can definitely find other knives out there in the same size category at a much cheaper price. However, you're going to take a hit on the steel, unless you get lucky and you find something out there that's in like Magna Cut or a higher end quality steel, one of your CPM S variants, so S20V, S30, S90, S35. Those are great steels. But if you can't find something like that, if you find something in D2 steel, while that is still a tool steel like this, still a great option. And we'll have some videos on some D2 knives. Big fan of D2 steel. It's cheap, it's accessible, and if you take care of it right, it's probably going to outlast you. Anyway, so we'll see just how well this edge is able to stay and be maintained now that the wetness factor and the sogginess factor with this cold, soggy weather has kicked off. We have launched a Patreon account for the channel, so starting at $5 a month, anything that you're able to donate, we'd greatly appreciate. If you like the content, please consider donating and helping support the channel grow and provide great new content and have new items to review. We do have some new and exciting upcoming videos coming out, so stay tuned for those. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button down at the bottom and check out some of our videos. Until next time, folks, have a knife day.